3 years ago, there was this terrible rumor out. What is the deal with you and R. Kelly? Are you all married or not?
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Now, who found him?
In the whole wide world.
Tyler Perry is gay. I know he's gay. He knows he's gay. We all have friends that know he's gay. I've hung around Tyler Perry. I've known Tyler Perry for years.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
What happens when Hollywood's most beloved figures are caught red-handed? Is there a side to them the cameras have hidden for decades? Did Ashton Kutcher's recent apology for defending Danny Masterson reveal more about his motives than he intended?
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration.
And what about Oprah? Her $40 million South African school seemed noble, but what really happened behind those gates?
We arrested a former employee who was working at Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. She was arrested yesterday for several charges, including indecent as well as soliciting girls under the age to commit indecent.
Then there's Tyler Perry, a Hollywood powerhouse, facing shocking accusations tied to his connections and stars from his own productions.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
But let's not stop there. Will Smith, R. Kelly, Woody Allen, Diddy, and Harvey Weinstein. What dark truths tie them to some of Hollywood's most horrifying scandals? Buckle up, because we're diving into minutes of Hollywood predators being exposed by their victims. First, we have Ashton Kutcher, whose surprising involvement in recent allegations left many questioning his true motives. For starters, he recently confirmed his connection to Diddy's freak-offs.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
And let's not forget that time he and his wife, Mila Kunis, wrote letters of support to a convicted predator, Danny Masterson. What followed was an awkward apology that didn't really seem like an apology.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of or rape.
But next up is someone who's been a household name for decades, Oprah Winfrey. Let's start with her $40 million South African school, which has been having issues since its opening.
We arrested a former employee who was working at Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. She was arrested yesterday for several charges, including indecent as well as soliciting girls under the age to commit indecent. And she's now at the Vereniging police cells.
Matole Macheka for that. Thank you.
I think the school has been open because they handed us a report of what was happening there, and they asked us to investigate what was happening there. And on our investigation, we arrested a woman who is a former employee. I think they have been open to make sure that all the criminal acts that have been taken place in the school are being investigated.
Now, moving from Oprah, we get to Tyler Perry. Known for his inspirational journey and groundbreaking work, Perry has also faced some uncomfortable accusations. For context, on the 16th of December, All the Queen's Men star Christian Keyes broke his silence about years of alleged SA from a powerful billionaire in Hollywood he says tried to climb in bed with him and offered $100,000 to strip.
There are people that will and have and will continue to, unfortunately, offer these things. And some of them are your heroes. Some of them are people who you're like, oh yeah, such and such is amazing, and he does this and he does that. Yeah, but he also does this and that. At some point soon, it's gonna have to come out. I've kept one of these on me since 2005. Whether it's a keychain recorder or a pen, because most predators would check your phone. And once the started, I was like, well, I gotta protect me, because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person, as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording. So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them. I have recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have on the payroll, all of the above. And the difference is, the wonderful thing about confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements is that they can't prevent you from turning all of those things over to the police, because is a crime, attempted is a felony.
After Tyler Perry, we turn to Cuba Gooding Jr., whose charm on the big screen has been overshadowed by a string of troubling allegations that landed him in court. It all began in June 2019 when reports emerged that Cuba Gooding Jr. was under investigation for allegedly a woman at a bar in New York City. In early 2022, Cuba Gooding Jr. pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of forcibly kissing a waitress in a nightclub. This admission of guilt came with the stipulation that he would undergo counseling for 6 months and avoid further arrests.
That I pled guilty and all these things. The guilty charge was for a violation of forcible kissing. And after 6 months of therapy, the judge repleaded it down to a violation. I've had violations, parking harassment. It was first harassment, yes, correct. So, yeah, here we are.
Next on the list is Will Smith. While many know him as a Hollywood golden boy, stories have emerged, especially from Jaguar Wright, that reveal a very different side of him.
They're both they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
Hey man.
And that was they kid's friend.
Yeah.
Who believed that real by any means with all of that?
Makes it tough to believe.
With all of that. When they was busy partying with the Martins, Then they switched over from the Martins to Mark Anthony and Jennifer Lopez. And then the kiss happened on Hawthorne. Her show got canceled. Mark and Jennifer broke up. All of this was going on. And guess what? Don't nobody want to admit that they a victim. So they pretend to be friends.
And then there's Diddy. With decades of influence in both music and Hollywood, his name has been tied to some of the most shocking claims about power and exploitation.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, interstate transportation for. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs threatened and coerced victims to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Speaking of music icons with dark secrets, we can't ignore R. Kelly. His downfall was one of the most publicized in recent history, exposing years of predatory behavior that many claim the industry turned a blind eye to. One particular person who fell for his conniving ways was a 15-year-old Aaliyah.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found him? In the whole wide world.
I found Leah. As a matter of fact, Barry Hankerson, my manager, who's her uncle, told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was glowing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here, and everything is all good.
But Aaliyah was not the only one who had to endure being in an relationship with him. From R. Kelly, we switch gears to Brian Peck, whose reputation in children's television has been marred by accusations that are as disturbing as they are unsettling. Several child actors have come out to accuse him of allegedly being a little too comfortable around them.
Leo, as you know, is the latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is.
Yeah, his muscles.
I saw this video of Brian Peck on Growing Pains with Leonardo DiCaprio, grabbing his shoulder, running across him and going down his arm. That's the kind of behavior I saw him with my son. Same frickin' behavior. So I went to production and said, you know, I really am very uncomfortable with this guy, Brian Peck, always being around my son. I go, I don't see anything abnormal, but it just doesn't, I don't have a good feeling. And she goes, oh, well, I don't know if you knew it or not, but he's gay. Maybe you're just homophobic and you just, you just don't understand that he's a touchy-feely guy. So I said, okay. And then it just kept not setting well with me. So I told people on the set. And I was ostracized. And then there was a birthday party for Drake. And Brian wanted to have it at his house. And I said, whoa, Brian, I don't want Drake having his birthday party at your house.
While Peck's controversy shook the TV world, Woody Allen's alleged actions towards his stepdaughter have long been a symbol of Hollywood's ability to protect its own, no matter the cost.
I loved my father. I respected him. He was my hero. And that doesn't obviously take away from what he did, but it does make the betrayal and the hurt that much more intense.
Let's go to August 4th, 1992. And if you could tell us what happened that day.
I was taken to a small attic crawl space in my mother's country house in Connecticut by my father. He instructed me to lay down on my stomach and play with my brother's toy train that was set up. And he sat behind me in the doorway, and as I played with the toy train, I was.
And finally, we come to Harvey Weinstein, arguably the face of Hollywood's reckoning. His exposure kicked off an entire movement, but his actions went unchecked for decades in an industry that enabled him.
Women, girls,
would be said, oh, you have a meeting or come to a party, they would show up and that party is just him. Who got them there? Who are the assistants?
You're saying there was a machinery.
So I'm saying there's a massive machinery. He is a sociopathic predator. He thinks he's done nothing wrong. I wish just one person would have stood up and said no more, because so many people had so many chances to put a stop to this.
In any case, Hollywood's shiny exterior is clearly hiding cracks, and these stories are just the beginning. From Ashton Kutcher's awkward apology to Harvey Weinstein's downfall, one thing is clear: power and fame can't shield the truth forever. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.